Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakat HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from and who rule well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the 1/3, the large multitude, unto you I say Shalom. So today's lesson that I want to get into is walking that straight and narrow path, the straight and narrow path that leads on to life, the kingdom of heaven, not the broad path, which leads to destruction. So first scripture I want to get is 2nd Esdras, chapter 7 and verse 6. And it reads, "There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things." So that city's talking about the kingdom of heaven, being full of all good things, no pollution, like the current world we're in, free of GMOs, clean air, clean water, everybody's in order, your woman's in order, the heathen will be subject, to the nation of Israel, full of all good things. Verse 7, the entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water. So yeah, the entrance you will have to go through a narrow and straight path. It's not a broad path, because to get to that kingdom of heaven, you got to go through persecution. You got to go through hell, catch infirmities, being hated by your own family, your so-called friends, co-workers, and that fire and that deep water, that's talking about being purified, as you go through stirring afflictions, purging out the old man. Verse 8, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So yeah, it's a straight and narrow path, Verse 9, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, and if he shall never pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So yeah, to get to that city, the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have to go to that straight and narrow path. It's no easy way to get there, you're going to have to go through persecution, catch hell, catch infirmities, ailments. How are you going to receive it? It's not going to be easily attained. It's going to be a hard path, that straight and narrow path. So next scripture I want to get is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13, and it reads, Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go thereat. So that straight gate, that's the walking in His truth, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, praying, fasting, reading, staying away from worldly lust. Most people are walking that broad path, that's going to lead to destruction. As it says in Zechariah 13 and 8, 2/3 of the nation of Israel will be cut off. That's that 66.6%, which is really most of the nation of Israel. Only a small remnant will be saved. Because straight is verse 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Yeah, so only, the elect are going to receive, that kingdom of heaven on the first go around. The 2/3, they'll be in the kingdom, but they'll have to go through that fire, that lake of fire to get purged out. We're being purged right now, from all of our impurities, so we could be, a reflection of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why we go through these daily hell, persecution, catching ailments. So next scripture I want to get is Romans chapter 8 and verse 18, and it reads, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." So, that's talking about, all the hell we're catching right now. Once we get the kingdom of heaven, it's not going to be, we're going to look back and look at those afflictions, they're going to seem small, even though they seem big at the time, because we're in this flesh. Once we get the kingdom of heaven, we're going to look back and be like, dang, that was really nothing. We could have been catching, worse hell, but, they're not worthy to be compared with the glory, the kingdom of heaven. So next scripture I want to get is Acts 14 and chapter 14 and verse 22. And it reads, "Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai." So, we got to go through tribulation, persecution, catch hell, catch, ailments, infirmities. It's not like the Christian church that, there isn't going to be no tribulation. They're going to get raptured. That's a false doctrine. That's not even in the Bible. That prosperity doctrine, everybody's going to go through it, Got to go through that tribulation, trials and tribulations. So next scripture I want to get is Ephesians 5 and verse 15, and it reads, "See that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." That word circumspect goes into looking around, being aware of your surroundings, knowing the times that we're in, and knowing what's to come, Jacob's trouble, famine, plagues, the implementation of the MOTB. Verse 16, "Redeeming the time because the days are evil." Knowing what times we're in, we're in evil times, the worst time to ever come, known to man, also known as Jacob's trouble, is soon upon us. So we want to walk that straight and narrow path to be covered, in those days, and Lord willing, get delivered. The next scripture I want to get is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, and it reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking who he may devour." So that adversary, the devil, that's talking about Esau, Edom. You want to be sober, be vigilant, not be caught up with worldly affairs, not, caring too much about your career, your job, your family, be more invested in the truth, because you could get caught off guard, not being sober, that being sober is not, talking about being drunk with wine, but that too, Next scripture I want to get is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13, and it reads, "But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." So, we have to endure till the end, That's how our deliverance is going to come, enduring till the end. It's not going to be, like the Christian church, the rapture and not have to go through anything, We're going to have to go through that straight and narrow path, to get to the kingdom of heaven, get delivered, in those chariots. But, that's pretty much it for this lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, who I learned this truth from, and who rule well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the 1/3, the large multitude, until you I say Shalom.